Shay. Can you hear me, Shay?
Hello again.
AJ, it's been so long.
Oh, a whole 10 seconds.
A whole minute.
Yeah,
Longest minute of my life, honestly.
honestly, yeah.
You too, Jordan.
All right, so let's see. Who is supposed to be coming? Oh, Nicolette. Okay, so just one more person.
She might
But
be late.
yeah. What's he saying?
She might be late. She's always late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang, they got that recorded, Adrian.
Well, now
Got
they
you
know
in
that.
4K.
Yeah, well, now they know that. She was 2 minutes late to my workshop yesterday, so.
All right, can you guys see my screen? All my many tabs open. No? Good, okay. Well, yeah, I guess we'll just get started, might as well. So yeah, welcome to our Troubleshooting Common Online Problems in the Virtual WMC workshop. I'm sure you guys have all experienced quite a few, technical difficulties since we've gone all online. I know I sure have. Seems to happen. So I feel like something happens almost every session, in all honesty. So this workshop's just going to be about, what to do when these kinds of things occur and, helping you to figure things out so that you can manage your time efficiently whenever one of these things happens. So first things first, we all know this by now, but technical difficulties are unavoidable. You're always going to have, your internet, lag or stop working. Zoom might just, mess up on you one day. I know power outages have happened, not all the time, but I think like 2 or 3 times last semester, there were like power outages that affected some of our tutors. We had to, make do with that. And then all these other things, Google Docs issues, tutor track issues, they're all gonna happen to you at one point or another. Just out of curiosity, what would you guys say is like the most common technical difficulty that you've experienced in your time working here online?
Google Docs.
Google Docs? Okay.
It's always Google Docs for some reason.
Yeah. That's a very common one.
I feel like for me, it's mostly been people trying to figure out how to work Zoom. And the Google Docs thing too, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like Google Docs was a big one. I wasn't expecting it to be as big of an issue as it actually ended up being, but yeah, almost every session there's some issue with sharing the document on Google Docs. But yeah, we'll get there. So to start off, we'll talk about one of the most common problems that I've had besides Google Docs is what if either me or my tutee has a poor internet connection? I've always heard, from all the other tutors, like the first thing to do in this kind of situation is to turn your camera off. We all know this by now. It helps, if you just have that off so that it's purely just an audio call pretty much, and you can usually hear them a lot better. It sucks not being able to see them, but I think the audio is by far the most important thing. So it's good to have that line of communication available. Then also, if possible, it's good to close out of other applications that you have open that might be using your internet. I've heard this mostly helps with people that have like older devices, older computers. Gives it like less to do when you're trying to use Zoom. It's not so much of an internet issue as it is just you have too much stuff going on your device. But yeah, if you get to a point where you think like communication is just like really difficult or not possible at all, it's always good just to message the student assistant on GroupMe so that they can try to get into contact with the tutee and figure something out. Whether that be like, you know, extending the appointment or maybe coming back like a different day or something and doing an appointment then, rescheduling. And if you think that a problem is on your end of things, it would be good to try, you know, doing the old unplug your router for 30 seconds and try to figure that out. I actually had to do that today in the middle of one of these workshops. But yeah, it actually didn't end up helping me out. It still wasn't working. It was like my internet was like dead for an hour. So I just joined in on my phone instead, which is also a good alternative when these kinds of things occur. So another, you know, fairly common thing that happens is we lose power during a session, and you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, you know, everything's off. What do I do now? You quite literally feel powerless in the situation. But yeah, there isn't like a whole lot you can do, but I think first of all, it's important to let the student assistant, you know on GroupMe what's going on, because hey, it might be happening for other people as well. I know last semester we had at least one power outage that affected a few of our tutors, I want to say, in like the Ventura County area. Because I remember seeing it on GroupMe. So I definitely think it's important just to keep everyone up to date and informed of what's going on, so that we can, you know, maybe try to move your tutee to another tutor that might be able to take it that has their power working. In this scenario, I'd say the best alternative would be to use Zoom on a phone or tablet using mobile data if you have it available. You know, not everyone has like unlimited data, and or even another device that could use this, but that's something that I've found can be a good alternative when these things occur. So let's see, another very common problem, probably the most common problem we have here, is with Google Docs. Most often for me, it's been they aren't sure how to share their document over Zoom, whether that be just because they're unfamiliar with technology, or they just, you know, have never had to change the sharing permissions before. It's something that happens, I'd say like half to like 3/4 of the appointments I get, honestly. So, you know, you might need to walk the student through the process of granting permission to view their document, because, you know, most situations they'll send me the link over Zoom, and I'll click on it, and, you know, it says I need them to grant me access. So, you know, you just got to tell them, walk them through that process. I'm sure you all are familiar with it. You know, clicking the share button, you know, clicking where it says restricted and changing it to anyone with link, like it says here. That, you know, usually is enough to fix the problem if you just take a minute to explain how to do it with them. But there's also been situations for me where even that doesn't seem to be working. You know, you explain it to them, you know, you share your screen or whatever, and they can't seem to figure it out. And I found that in these situations where it's just not seeming to be working, and it feels like you're just wasting time trying to get it to work, that sometimes it's easier just to have them screen share their document over Zoom instead. Sometimes it's difficult, but I've usually found that they're much more willing and able to do that instead when they're having trouble with Google Docs. So yeah, it does kind of, you know, it's not as good in that I know a lot of our tutors like to leave like comments on their document or what have you. But I think the most important thing is that you have the document right in front of you in like a timely manner, so that you know, you can get to, you know, what we're supposed to be doing, instead of, you know, spending, you know, up to like 5 minutes like, oh, if you just click the share button and, you know, all that. Sometimes that just takes way too long. So yeah, screen share has saved me a couple times during sessions. And then I think this is the last one we have on here is like Tutor Track or GroupMe or issues with other applications that we use as tutors. I know we use a lot of different services as tutors, and they aren't always working when we need them to. And honestly, there isn't a lot to do other than wait for these services to become functional again when they do go down. But when they do go down, it's important to keep the other tutors and essays informed if you notice a problem with any of them. If possible, if GroupMe is working, granted, you should send a message on it or an email to the active essay to let them or keep them in the loop about what's going on with these. But yeah, that pretty much covers just about everything. Or some of the most common problems. I know there's other ones that happen from time to time, but yeah. So the most important thing to remember in these situations is not to stress. You know, I know it can be kind of, you know, weird when you're in the middle of a session, your power goes out and you're just like, oh, I don't know what to do now. But you know, just following those steps and you know, knowing what to do, keeping everyone informed is super helpful. These things are bound to happen. They happen to everyone, you know, and just to manage your time efficiently, it's best to just be prepared for when they occur so that, you know, we can get through it and get back to doing what we do best, tutoring. So yeah, does anyone have any questions or comments, concerns, other tips that they've found helpful when it comes to these kinds of problems? No? All right.
So what I wanted to offer is for those of you who might anticipate your internet might be a problem, like you think that your internet connection is just going to be a regular problem, or you want to have a backup plan just in case. For a semester-long checkout, if you go to the circulation desk at our library, you can rent a mobile hotspot for free. They're very limited. I think they only have like 100 left right now when I checked earlier today. But what it is basically a Verizon-based miniature Wi-Fi router that allows you to save your data. It allows you to save your your internet connection, some bandwidth, by having a dedicated mobile hotspot for your use, right? So definitely, if you want one of those because you think it'll be useful, get one early in the semester, and you don't have to return it till the end of the semester. All you need is your student ID number. You can get that there. Second, if you ever have any issues with your own computer in terms of oh, my computer just died or something like that, right? And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to my online shifts or anything like that for this foreseeable future. Again, don't stress. We can let you borrow one of our laptops, right? Just want to make sure that you're always in a position where you are able to do your job. Second, in case you don't have it already, here is the roster of all of our contact information. You'll get a pretty good feel for who's on duty, in terms of the essays or the administrator. For example, Adrian, you already know that I'm the weekend guy. You already know that I'm the evening guy, right? So in the event that GroupMe or whatever has a total and utter collapse, right? You can at least get in touch with me via text or email or something, so I can let the SA know, and that way we can all stay in communication just in case GroupMe just dies for the weekend or something like that, right? Additionally, in the event that say you are again I know I think you guys aren't living on dorms or anything like that, but in the event that anybody, okay, Jordan, you are, in the event that say you got a power failure in the dorms or something like that, and you just need electricity, go to the library, right? We can definitely make sure that you're taken care of there. Even if the writing center isn't physically open, chances are power won't be out for the entire campus, right? So you can try to get something there. Any questions, concerns off the top of your head in response to any of that? All right, cool. One of the other things that you might have technical difficulties with that hasn't really happened yet, but you might have issues with, like, say, VoiceThread. Maybe VoiceThread will be down in the event that say, like, you have a VoiceThread appointment scheduled, but VoiceThread isn't working. It's going to maintenance, or the site's is down, or something, or the login isn't working, or something like that. We're still able to give you the assignment, right? Because they emailed it to us in order to even do the VoiceThread appointment, right? They had to have sent us their assignment, their prompt, and everything like that. So if for some reason you do have a VoiceThread appointment scheduled, but you're not able to make it on VoiceThread, we do have backup plans available. So for example, just like with the SA, no, hey, VoiceThread isn't working. Can you send me their assignment or their appointment request? Right, so they can give you the documentation, and then you can just, like, record something like in the Zoom cloud or something, like, as a backup plan, right? So that's one way to get around that. One of the major issues that you might run into is maybe you'll have a online EMT visit that you might be scheduled to go to, and for some reason you can't. Right. In that case, it is more imperative that you get in contact with the professor, not the SA, because the SA is probably just going to have to notify the professor anyway. Like, say, oh, I have an online pitch or an online workshop, I can't make it to you. I just get in touch with the professor, because chances are they'll be looking at their email going, like, where the hell is this guy? Right. And that way you can get that resolved, et cetera, et cetera. One point of consideration I want you to understand is that if you are having issue communicating with A2T, make sure that you do operate through the SA, just so that, like, you're not having to, like, give out your phone number or, like, give out your email or anything like that, like, unnecessarily. I don't want you to be in a situation where you're like, oh, well, your Zoom, like, isn't working, like, I'll just call you or something like that, right? Don't put yourself in that situation where you're giving digits to a 2T, because that's just weird, right? If we got an SA on deck, chances are, if they're working at the front desk, they'll just be able to make the call from the front desk. Worst case scenario, the SA is the one who has to make the call, and that way you're not having somebody, text you at 3 a.m. trying to, can you look at my paper before it's due? It happens. It's terrible, right? Don't put yourself in that situation. Additionally, our citation guides, right, on the Tumblr page and whatnot, if you ever find a dead link or anything that doesn't work on those, let me know. So that way I can just, go to the master Google Drive, see what's up with that, and just send you a copy of something if you need it. Additionally, if you're ever having issues accessing online citation guides on Amazon, like, oh, it's asking me for a text, and I can't get into that, like, say, like, this will happen a lot on weekends. Like, for example, like, Adrian, say you got like a 5 o'clock shift on Sunday and you're trying to access the online citation guide on the Amazon account, but it wants to text Sohi in order to give you access to that. And don't just think, oh, I can't access it now, right? Contact me, right? Because I have literally every book, like, on my desk, just in case you guys need it. So in that case, don't be afraid to just bypass, the Amazon thing altogether, and to say, Shay, what's the citation format for like a journal article in MLA or something like that? And I'll just send it to you. Right. Secondarily, if you are having issues with your you'll say, like, people getting to your Zoom room on the regular. This has happened to me over the summer. Like, I had a bunch of appointments where people just weren't showing up. Make sure that the SA is actually putting the correct Zoom link in the emails they're sending to the students, because chances are that is a clerical error, and that's something that can get resolved. To that end, I would strongly recommend, if you haven't already, looking at the master list of everyone's Zoom links. I'll go ahead and post a link to that. This is kind of like a truncated version of the roster that has everybody's Zoom link, everybody's phone number, right? Just in case we need to get a hold of each other, just in case SA needs to put, like, like your Zoom link or anything like that, they'll just go here. It's based off of this list, right? Just want to make sure that you're on the list. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let's see. Let's see. You may run into online issues if you are working, say like physically at the center, but you have to do a remote appointment. What I would strongly recommend, if at all possible, if you're ever in the position where you do have to take an online appointment when you're physically working at the center, use the computer in the sound booth. I made sure everything's set up and good to go like instantly for any kind of Zoom appointment or anything like that. It's much easier than trying to get one of the laptops out of the laptop locker, waiting 20 minutes for it to boot up, hoping that it actually works, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, there's that. And furthermore, if you are having what was my train of thought here? Oh yeah. One of the things that a lot of people are requesting lately is the ability to record your online sessions. In case you're ever having trouble giving them that permission, just make sure that you record it yourself and then give them the Zoom link afterwards. Right? It's that easy. Right? That's all I got. Any questions?
Also, quickly
Yes.
want to say, yesterday we actually figured this out, but
Good. What's
I
that?
think there's an issue with VoiceThread with the account. So if multiple people are on it at the same time, you can't like all record a session
Got
or
it.
do it one at the same time.
Okay,
So
we'll have to
no,
make
like
sure
if
we
it,
solve
yeah.
that. Okay, cool.
if
Good
it,
tip.
yeah, it was cutting us off after like 30 seconds of recording a comment because I figured because everyone else was on it.
Yeah.
So just know if that's happening with you, it's probably because someone else is doing one. You
Yeah,
just have to
okay.
wait to do it or something.
Yeah, okay.
So
Excellent.
yeah.
Okay. All right, welcome back, Jordan. All right, well, I think that's everything we got. If you have any technical issues, long story short, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? So literally, my job on the administrative side of things. Worst case scenario, if we can't get a technical issue resolved for you, I'll just like take over the session or something like that, right? Just want to make sure that you're never put in a situation where you feel that you are technologically unable to do your job. So don't be afraid to ask for help. We got your back. All right, cool. All right, well, class dismissed. If you need anything, just let me know. I'll be around for the next half an hour or so.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks for taking point, AJ. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Of course, it saves me a lot of work. See y'all later.
See ya.